yeah.
So if I can click my phone and then call my sister who's in Australia, why can't I get a job right now?
I can make money quick.
and see, that's it. So I don't know who came up with this whole idea, but everybody looks fine and good on social media.
Hello, welcome to the KWS Show. Our guest today is a mother of two. She's a TV presenter, a voiceover artist. She's a film producer, a writer, and a compere. She's worked as a compere with the oil and gas sector. She was host of Nigeria's centenary show, Red Carpet host for AMAA 2014, and anchored educational quiz programs on TV, and a host of events. Her vision and mission statement is to enthusiastically share her giftings with the world. Living the best life is all she could ever do, and she does so with her words, spoken, written, and in songs. She's helped people maximize their potential in pursuit of purpose and finding fulfillment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mamuzo Nwokoro to the show. How are you doing, girl?
I'm fine, thank you.
Amazing.
My pleasure to be here.
Yeah, nice. Good to have you on the show.
Great.
Okay, so let's start like this. Your story, to me, is fascinating. I see you on social media all the time. I see you put motivational quotes. But there's always something for me that stands out, and that's your diction. All right, let's start from there. Was it a crave for you, like when you started? How did you master the art of communication this way?
Okay, so first, thank God for the gifting. I think I have a pretty voice, so that which is very distinct. So thank God for the gift of that. Okay. But I've also had, like you said, a taste or a desire to speak impeccably. Okay. And my mom was an English teacher, and so she also kind of fanned, the right way of pronouncing words, in all of our children while we're growing up. Okay. You dare not mispronounce a word if my mom is there, because she'll tell you, no, that's not how it should be pronounced. Amazing. So that culture of doing it right was set from the get-go.
Amazing. So talking about how your family instilled that culture in you, children these days seem to be missing it. I don't know whose fault that is. It could be the parents, it could be the society, it could be the media. A lot of things are happening these days. But why do you think a lot of children are going into vices nowadays? What's the major cause?
That's quite a question, because it's a topic, it is such a broad topic. I mean, you have to look at it from every angle. But let's start from the home front. So you have a mother who is very busy and a father who is also very busy chasing money. So they really do not have enough time to cater to their children's needs. On the other hand, there's another class of parents who even have the time, but are not doing it the right way. So it's not, because people are used to saying, oh, because everybody's out chasing money. It's not necessarily so. There are parents who even have, there are women who are full-time housewives. Okay, they like to call them, there's a new vocation for them now, a new name for them now, stay-at-home moms, You might be a stay-at-home mom, and yet you're not parenting correctly. So there's a lot of things to look at. And then society, of course, has done its very good job by just throwing us into a ditch. All kinds of things are flying up and down. We celebrate vices. We celebrate entertainment celebrities who give us valueless and clueless content, all in the name that they're trending. We trend. I want to be careful with my words, We trend things that are questionable, we trend corruption, we trend fashionism, extreme fashionism. So why won't our children pick up these things and become haywire? Wow. So I think that's where it starts. But first, let's look at the home front, because that's where it all begins from, before they even begin to interact with society. So you as a parent, what are you doing about your children as they grow up? It is first your responsibility to raise them as independent, societal, viable individuals. You don't want them to just become, people say, I'm doing my best, but your children are timid. You haven't done very well, really. They might be intelligent.
Becomes, what is your best?
Exactly. They might be intelligent, but are they society ready? I mean, can they face society? Can they live up to the present day challenges? Are they competent enough to handle, the dynamics of our 21st century? Let's look at media and technology and how it affects the children, for instance. So like I was saying earlier before the show, I have 2 sons.
Okay.
2 cute and feisty sons. I like to say that because
Awesome.
I'm very proud. They make me a proud mom,
Nice,
you know.
nice.
So I usually try to, you know, create a timetable for them to run through every month. So for that month, our focus was to learn, you know, about courage. And so I took up the story of David and Goliath in the Bible and said, okay, we read about it, and then I said to them, let's watch it.
Okay.
Now my son watched it, so the younger one and the older one, they both watched it. And then the younger one, after that day, picks up the spatula in the house, the belts, and then the ropes, and then he says, oh, this is my sling. I want to kill Goliath. The purpose for which I wanted them to watch that was for them to understand that, you know, they can be courageous in the face of adversity. But that was how he interpreted it. Now there's a 2-year-old boy who got his own interpretation to the story. And that is me trying to do right by saying, learn about courage. Now, so what that tells you is that one trick you must learn as a parent is to understand the individualistic developmental level of that child.
Wow.
Because every child is different.
It's different.
You know, he's 2 years old. It's not the same way the 4-year-old reacted to that, you know, story. So understand what your child is able to consume per time and give it to them. And then we're also fond of saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that. But are we helping them understand why they shouldn't do those things? You know, when you make a child understand the reason why you're setting this barrier or this, you know, drawing this line is because of this or that.
Okay.
You give them a chance to choose. So you make them even independent by saying, okay, if this is the consequence for doing this, I'd rather not do this. But when you impose your own instructions on them, you make them feel like they're prisoners of your own principles. But you must be careful not to you must be careful not to crush or crunch, you know, their self-esteem while you're setting rules or setting standards. They are human beings as much as we are. And they also should have a voice in whatever we're asking them to do. Now, that also then determines the stage of that child.
Amazing.
I mean, the developmental stage of that child. Is that child a 2-year-old? Is he a 4-year-old?
Amazing.
Is he a 7-year-old? In fact, the truth is that parenting in this day is very dynamic, and we have to be careful with what we're handing out per time.
Amazing. You talked about entertainment, and you said there are some entertainment contents out there that are not really beneficial to the child. What is the essence of entertainment anyways? Like, is it possible for you to be entertaining and morally upright at the same time, looking at our present condition of things?
It is very possible.
How?
And I'll try to be very practical. But first, I think that what we have missed is we entertain without intellectualism. So we just throw off content because it's funny, because we think it will engage, you know, and then we just sell off anything. You can put your thoughts to what you're doing. You can put critical thinking to whatever you're doing as an entertainer. So you have a beautiful song. The beat is very interesting. It is very engaging, it's very upbeat. But what is the message behind that song? Now, what you're missing out is that while you have answered the question of, I will get attention with this song, you haven't answered what would they stand to gain from listening to my song. So you have 2 major responsibilities: to entertain us and to permit me to use the word bless us. Because there's no point making me dance and then I still have issues to deal with. For instance, if all we do night and day is dance to the Bedu songs that we have in our clubs and on social media, how do we solve our coronavirus issues? How do we solve Lassa fever issues? Who is talking about?
Some people would say you leave that for the doctors to handle.
No, that's what we keep saying. When we keep stratifying the solution to a particular class of people, we don't get it all done.
Okay, but how can an entertainer contribute meaningfully to solving
exactly
the
what I'm saying?
coronavirus?
What I'm saying is that your message. Okay, why is it that we don't have singers or artists who say, oh, coronavirus is trending now, so what can I do to further, you know, sensitize people, you know, on how to protect themselves from being caught up in this web of coronavirus? And then he's singing, oh, please wash your hands or something, or be careful. And then he goes to do research. Our singers, they don't even research, they just sing whatever comes to their mind. How many of them really spend time to read up, you know, what they throw out there as content? So I think that research is important. I think that we should also, when we trend things, let us trend what is valuable to society.
Okay, amazing. So you said a lot of things about putting in positive messages to your songs, to the entertainment content. Recently, someone came out online, a popular Nigerian celebrity, made a statement online that a lot of people had issues with. And there are stories all around social media right now that a group of young people, especially teenagers, little girls that go to school, don't wear underwears. which is supposed to be a movement for that particular celebrity. So they say, I am a Malian. And a lot of their parents act surprised. Do you think the parents are missing it?
And the parents, I can tell you that it's quite a challenge. When your child comes back from school and is saying something you have never said before, you can be helpless sometimes. Not that you have failed in parenting your child, no. It's just that as much as you work hard at home, you need to keep working hard with what they interact with outside. It's a lot of work for you. And how much surveillance can a parent possibly even have on his child, really? Let's be very factual. That is why we cannot leave it all only to the parents. That's why we have schools, the religious organizations, even the government, the NGOs, and then, of course, our celebrities. We all have a role to play in this thing.
True.
The future generation is what we're talking about here. And so if we do not set the right foundation for them, what we're seeing now is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to see. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just saying this is reality.
I get it.
So when we're crying foul over hikes in insecurity, corruption here and there, it starts with what we do now. Because what we're seeing now is what we failed to do yesterday is what we're now reaping.
Awesome.
The seeds we sowed yesterday are the seeds we're now reaping. So we have to be very careful. So back to your question, Naira Marley and then the Malian movement is quite a thing and a shocker for many people. But let me say to you that some people are also very shocked because when some other musicians started off Yahuze and Living Things and all of those other songs that were portraying advanced fraud. I don't know how much we handled them. So you know how it is. They say you just pinch someone, the person does not cry. You pinch him some more now, right? So this is what we're handling. So Naira Marley is just a manifestation of what we did not handle properly.
Okay.
So I cannot blame parents, but I would say to parents that at the end of the day, it's still your child. So you must keep trying your best.
But so many parents are so busy. They don't have time, real quality time with their children. I mean, I was having a conversation with a parent and the person told me what he does when the child comes up disturbing him, when he's trying to rest and all of that, is just to give the child an iPad and then the child plays games and is lost in the media technology world. These children grow up not being able to have conversations, real conversations with people. Some don't even, as far as greeting is concerned, they don't even greet. So do you think the lack of time for the parents is really a factor, and how can they solve that? Oh,
it's a major factor because the truth is, even when we say we have stay-at-home moms, those stay-at-home moms still try to do one or two things. They're not just, they're not free all day long. Some of them are online influencers, they're pushing a brand here and there. True. They're involved in a trade. But you see, you have to say to yourself, what is my priority? I left active work when I had my second child. I said to myself, my children first. So if you really can, I would advise you, between you and your husband, choose who would be able to take the back seat from active work and then focus on your children.
Was your job affecting the way you were raising your kids?
Not necessarily. Okay. Oh, no, but media. I mean, media takes a lot of attention. True. So I didn't want to be running helter-skelter and leaving my child to someone else to raise for me. I always say this to my children. I want them to see me as I want to be their default setting. I want to be their first idol. When they think of success, what a successful personality should look like, when they think about fashion, they should look at their mother or their father. We should be their idols first. Children are naturally curious. They want to know things. And unfortunately, for that child who is used to having, access to the tabs when his father and mother is not there, he just punches what he wants to find out on Google. And guess what? He will get not just all sorts of information. But if I'm accessible to my child and I'm always available for him, he knows I should ask mommy first. In fact, I try not to let my children watch TV unassisted. Yes, it is a lot of work, but I have to do it. I try because right now I need to guard what they consume as much as possible. When we go out, I say, okay, what did you see today? What did you learn today? Okay, so mommy, is it good for a girl to hold hands with another girl? And that's a 4-year-old already asking me. Because on television we have all sorts of content that they expose our children to. Do you understand? So it's a lot of work, but we must do it. And I want to say to every parent, if you can, allow one of your spouse to be very available for the children. If you can't, then please look for help. If it's a counselor, if it's someone that you take the children to at least maybe weekly, find a way to be involved in your children's life. Because at the end of the day, it's not the money you're chasing that will produce good children for you.
Wow. Amazing, amazing. These days, like I said, the issue of instant gratification is becoming a problem. Young people want it now. And where do you think people get that mindset from? Nobody's really ready to work hard to be successful. Everybody go on the gram and they see a lot of successful people and they just want to make it the next day. Where do you think these ideologies are coming from?
Okay, so when television came, we thought that we've had the biggest, you know,
Evil. They call it the evil box.
We haven't even fully digested, you know, all that TV can offer us, and then we have been pushed into embracing, you know, the fastest and I don't know, the fastest thing ever, social media, you know, the social media age. Now, I mean, at the punch of a button, you can see people, you can communicate with people all over the world. This is not a challenge anymore. So it's that convenience and speed that we get, you know, in our social media or digital technology that has translated, that has rather affected our perception to everything else.
Oh, wow.
So if I can click my phone and then call my sister who's in Australia, or if I can, at the punch of a button, I can see you, and even though, you know, why can't I get a job right now?
Quick.
and see, that's it. So
I love it.
You can see how it works.
Yeah,
More
true.
so, I don't know who came up with this whole idea, but everybody looks fine and good on social media. And you have to belong now. You just have to belong. You know, our political class is not even helping matters either. When someone loots from the government's coffers,
on social media,
he goes scot-free after paying a small stipend. But if someone steals a chicken, he can stay in jail for 6 months. So what are you telling the children?
True.
That if you are a MAGA and you have the money, you can buy anything. Because once you have money and influence in Nigeria, you can even bend the hands of the law.
You can bend the rules.
So that's it.
Wow, amazing. There's the pressure on children to make better choices. Because I think that's the basic ideology for all of this. How can children begin to make better choices? I mean, there are kids out there who don't have parents. You go on the street right now, you see children hawking, street trading and all of that. Those kids that don't have the moral support of parents or guardians, how can they begin to make better choices?
Okay, so this is how I'm going to look at this question. You don't have anyone to talk to you, and then you're just by yourself, and you have to make better choices. I've met people who were raised in similarly challenging, you know, environments, and they're able to build a life out of it. So you have to stay focused. You have to say to yourself, what is the life that I want to live? One thing about social media is it also has its good side. So on social media, there are people who also have a lot of followers, and they're truly inspiring, giving good content, and they're true success icons. So please, make your success icons, those success icons, your own icon. You know what they say about who you associate with will eventually determine who you'll become. So begin to associate with right-standing people, moral upright people. Begin to associate with brands that uphold integrity. And then you yourself begin to deliberately tell yourself that this is the life I want to live. Create a mental picture of who you want to become. You know, sometimes when, like I've said to my mom, she raised me very well. She did a very good job. But most of the decisions I made in my life is not necessarily because my mom raised me very well, because I found God early, and that helped me stay on the right track. And that's also a good thing to do. Find God. If you find God, the chances that you will definitely make the right choices in life, because the Spirit of God will tell you what to do and how to do them.
Amazing, amazing. One of the things that children are also suffering from, many times parents are aware, many times they are not aware, is the issue of addictions. You know, it's taking a toll on children, on kids these days. You know, there are some little children you would not imagine can, you know, get access to these things. So because of social media, they're getting access to them. How do you break free from addictions? So, you know, for children out there, what's the first step? What should they do first?
Oh, you need to seek help. In fact, for anyone who's an addict,
well, how do they get to know that they actually it's a problem? How do they come to that sense of realization that this is a problem?
Anything that gets you, anything that controls you is an addiction.
Okay.
So anything that makes you, first of all, it disturbs your sleep, it distorts your thought pattern, it affects, you know, your normalcy. That is, you're not able to do things on a normal frequency. It's an addiction. Even social media can be an addiction.
True.
If you stay up late at night, you're on social media, please, you're addicted to social media. Because to truly live a healthy life, you must pay attention to what you consume.
True.
And that includes content that you connect with, you associate with books, social media apps, games, TV shows. So you need to, and you know, some of these things, addictions are gotten from association. So you're watching a TV show, for instance, and the idol or the personality who is the one behind the show is an addict. You want to be like him because you so much admire him. You start doing what he's doing. So it starts with, first of all, recognizing that you're an addict. Secondly, seek help. Now, I'm sure the helper, who should be a seasoned counselor, should let you know that you need to first and foremost detach yourself, dissociate yourself from such content, or if it's a book, whatever it is that is the source or the medium through which you became an addict in the first place. Cut off from that thing. And then you need to also be accountable to people. So that can also put you in a certain program that helps to checkmate your progress through the whole rehabilitation.
Are there agencies? Do you know any of such agencies?
Okay. None comes to mind, but there are a number. I know Lagos State does have an agency. I don't remember right now, but they do have an agency, and even a number. If you Google it up, you'll find the name and the numbers to call. They are very available and accessible to anyone. So please do not keep to yourself. Addictions kill. You know, it might not kill you physically, but it kills your mental capacity.
Mentally,
you're not able to advance mentally. And I want to say to every young man or every young boy or every young girl out there, you're more than you think you are. So don't let social media limit you. Don't let people who have gone ahead of you limit you. You can even outdo them. So don't say, because see what this XYZ person has done, I'm so consumed by it, and then you give yourself to what his beliefs are. You become a slave of someone else's own belief. No, make the right choices for yourself, and then see how fast you can go and how well you can fly, because you really can fly.
Amazing.
If you make the right choices.
Amazing. That's a real one. I felt so motivated. You know, the reason conversations around addiction is so important these days is there's a study right now on that came out, that the same feeling you get from taking cocaine, sniffing cocaine, that same sense of relief and gratification you get from that is the same feeling you get when you consume social media.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. I mean, it's all over social media. We're being warned that we have to be careful.
Dopamine.
And then, because like you said, everybody wants to feel like, someone recognizes me. And that's one solution that social media is giving to our 21st century generation. You see, once you post a nice picture, people start to like, so you feel important. You feel, you're happy, you feel pumped up, someone recognizes me. Everybody wants to be loved. And it could be a false feeling, because like I said to people, that you have.
How do you recognize that it's a false feeling? How do you differentiate that from the right feeling?
Okay, I'll put this to you. So if you have, for instance, 50 likes on a post that you posted, are those people real to you?
But they are real human beings.
No. What I mean is, this is what I mean. Okay. So if you have a broken leg, would they come to your hospital would they come to see you at the hospital?
Okay.
You cannot exchange these fragile relationships with actual social real connections. Yeah. Do you understand? Would they visit you at the hospital if you break your legs? They wouldn't be there. They would sympathize. They would say, all nice things on social media. But it's not the same as having someone who is a friend, who understands that this is who you are, these are your weaknesses, these are your strengths. It's different.
Get it.
No, don't get me wrong. Social media is fun. I enjoy social media because sometimes people begin to say, it's fun, it's entertainment, it has its good sides. It's also educational. It's the use
that becomes a problem.
And then the content and the context also is also another thing we should look at. What are we selling out? Even journalists, we need to ask ourselves this question. How are we informing our audience?
Well, is it really possible to have a platform without the negative aspects, without the negative content? Would that really be possible?
Without negative. There are platforms without. Okay, you mean platforms or a platform? As per what I'm asking you is, are you referring to me having my own IG page
No.
or
I mean,
an app.
for instance, Facebook, for instance.
Oh, no, it's
devoid
not.
of
No.
negative
It's
part.
because the world has all kinds of people. You cannot be void, but you make the choice on how you want
Make
to
the
use
choice.
it.
So at the end of the day, it still boils down to choices.
So it is the choices. I was just going to say a word to journalists because I mean that's my era. You know, our job is to inform, but to inform, you know, pragmatically. You don't want to just throw any information out there because there's a recent survey that shows that people who committed suicide, first of all, heard it from media.
Wow.
So even as we report suicide, it becomes I don't know. It is
Part of our subconscious.
Do you understand? So you can see how powerful information is. So as you go out there doing your work to inform people, please be very careful how you sell your information.
Amazing.
Because you don't know who was taking it to do what.
Amazing. So how do we begin to use, how do kids, young people, because the other day I was speaking at a conference and I said children can begin to use social media as a tool to make their voices heard. How can children begin to use social media to make their voices heard positively?
One of the biggest advantages of social media is that it gives you freedom of expression. Now, you might be an introvert, but on social media you're highly extroverted because you can write all those thoughts you have kept to yourself.
True.
You can express yourself as you like. Now, your question is, how can a child use social media positively, right? It's a matter of choice. We cannot say it other than going back to the choice, you know, that you make. You are a child, you have a talent, show yourself, showcase yourself. It's a platform to market your skills.
True.
Exhibit your singing ability, your ability to write, to speak, you know, and then engage with the right community. Not every community is meant for you. You decide what you want to be involved with. Not every person should be your icon. You decide who should be your idol. You have to make the right choices.
At the end of the day, it boils down to choices.
It's always down to you,
Boils down
really,
to
making the
choices.
right choices.
Well, amazing. So, Mamuzo, what are your future plans? I wouldn't want us to end this conversation without talking about your career and how far you've come. What are your plans for the future? Are there things in the works that we need to look out for? Are there things you probably want people to know?
Okay, so I was sharing earlier with your producer. I want to start off a campaign, you know, to counteract counterculture.
Oh wow!
Yes, I intend to do, and hopefully in March. I've had opportunity to work with children, you know, at different levels. So I will start again with schools, and then fan it into a family club.
Awesome.
Because what I want to do with the family club is to ensure that not only children. You know, it shouldn't be only the children hearing these things or only the parents hearing these things. I want to bring them together. They will together hear these things and then we'll share them into groups to teach them the core values that they need to know at per time.
Amazing.
And then we would create like a study, a worksheet wherein we can now track how much of work we're doing in that family and then we'll just keep replicating it as we go along the way.
Amazing. How about the film aspect? Because I know.
Okay, so film. I kind of took a break from film. Yes. Okay, so yes, I will not be doing a film this year because I really want to focus on my comparing skills, and then of course I'll start off a show this year, definitely.
Wow.
So my show will be
Beautiful.
out soon, and of course it's also family based again because I'm a family person to the core.
Amazing.
And I believe that the way to correct societal norms,
Okay.
negative societal norms, is to begin from
Focus
the home.
on the family.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mamuzo, for being on the show.
My pleasure.
It's been a great conversation, guys. A lot of times these things come on time and time again, and we have to continually remind ourselves that the world out there is a matter of choices. You have to make your choice. Whatever you decide to give into becomes a part of you. So Mamuzo has actually shed light on all of these issues, and I believe that you've learned a thing or two from the conversation today. Mamuzo, thank you once again for being on the show. Till we come your way again, guys, same time, same station. If you have a question, you have comments, you want to say anything to us, or you want to ask Mamuzo a question, you can actually drop it right there on the comment section. I am sure definitely she will definitely respond to you. Thank you for being a part of this one. Till we come your way again, same time, same station. Have an amazing one. God bless you.